Hi, Tuesday afternoon, back to the Wandle. So I can't stop painting it because living in suburbia there's a shortage of great views, or at least countryside views. So I paint this a lot because it does exist, and I bike along it with my mates and son and grandson on Saturday, at least once a week. It's such a beautiful thing to do. Right, okay. So I'm not going to draw it in, I'm just going to go straight in. Lovely day, warm sunny day, so a bit of water on the raw sienna all over, just to give it a warmth. And some clouds, little tiny clouds, so we'll put in a bit of blue. And what you put in the sky, put in the water. Fairly high horizon on this one. Okay, so we've also got shadow on the, some overhanging the tree here. It's casting a shadow in this area here, so I'll try to remember that on the water. Right, I think the clouds, a bit of light red and a bit of ultramarine. And that'll do, no more than that. Now, we don't need to reclip the paper, just pull it tight as it expands, and it'll stay fairly flat. I'm painting this on the back of one of the Saturday demos. Not the line and wash I did with the acrylic paint. I think that turned out quite well. Right, there we are. So we'll put in the distant trees. So I'm going to use Payne's Grey, a bit of lemon yellow, and a little bit of the ultramarine, but quite bright. But I want that blue, but I want it fairly faint. It's not faint in actual reality, but we've got to make the colours different to give the impression of distance, of perspective, aerial perspective. A bit of darker stuff on there. On the shadow side, coming down here. A nice shadow in there. I'm just mixing a bit of red, blue and Payne's Grey, just because there's a bank coming across here. We have painted this a few times. A nice greeny sort of colour in here. We've got all the shadow here. So the bank comes down here and then sort of sweeps up here. A dark green here. I'll put in some lemon yellows on the top of all this because this is in shadow. Right, let's crimp a brush. So pure yellow here, and yellow, raw sienna, nice clean colour. So let's get that coming up here. And then right, that's coming down here. Sweeping down here, so darker green. Good bit of colour in here. try this here because this tree here is sort of coming over there, going across here. Right, okay. I put in some lemon yellow on top of that. A little bit of blue showing through there, and then we'll some nice yellows. Okay, something like that. I've got to put these shadows back here. They're a bit lost now. So, greeny colour, a bit of blue. We've got some lovely shadows in this. Might be a bit wet now. That's very wet there. Right, and then let's get that down there. A bit more in here. Now we need to put this shadowy colour back in the bank. So a thick bank here. Got some lovely fish today. Wait for that to dry a little bit. So these are the shadows in the grass, the bracken brambles, elderflowers, all sorts of lovely things in here. So lemon yellow, Brisbane's grey. It comes down here. And then we've got all sorts of lovely greens in here. A bit of umber. And I can put in some grasses with the rigger in a minute. You have to look for your darks. They're not always obvious. Your shadows, they make all the difference. Your contrast, and just a bit of shadow in there. Okay, we've got some straggly things coming up here to do with the rigger in a minute. Right, let's do the other side and we can detail back into there in a minute when that's dry. Get a bit more strength in this area here. Right, so we're catching the light. So see now the paper's drying lovely now. It's coming up here. Nice lemon yellow in there. Then we've got nice dark greens. Right down to the other bankers. We could just go on. So just get that nice light bank, this dark bank across here. And coming down here. I put a bit dark there, I should have gone light, but I missed that, so I'm just going to put a bit of heavier green in there. Shadow there. Might take a little bit of that green out, it's a bit darker than it should have been. Look at the reflection in there. All the way down. When I put the darker bit in here, you should see where the bank is. Okay, that's a good wedge of dark there. I'm going to put a bit of burnt umber with my darks, just to make it a bit yellow, to make it a little bit darker, a bit warmer. Yeah, this is all the shadow. Because I have to accentuate it a little bit. Right, let's go back to the darks now. Light against dark. A bit of dry brush now. Okay, there's a little bit in here. So the river, the bank goes down here, sweeps round, and we've got all this lovely coming from the bank, from where I took the photograph. We've got some ferns and sort of brambles coming up. Right, bit of nice dark green. Now more dark greens, just lemon yellow and a bit of grey. A bit there. And a bit of light on the top of, you see a bit of light yellow, lemon yellow. Right, okay. Now we need some details in here now. It's might as well just scrape out a few of these reflections. Right, some darks now, some twigs, and so Payne's grey, burnt umber. Bit of lemon yellow. And then just a few little going into this dark canopy of darkness, shadow. That's all. I can't see much more there. Can't pick out any, but I'll put a couple in up here just. Break it up to give them the impression that there's some leaf cover. Oh, lovely. And over here we've probably got a few little bits. a bit more dark in there really. Now let's take a little bit of detail. Make that a bit stand out a little bit. Oops. Oh, we'll have to do something like that. There's a bit of reflections in there, I think. Do all the shingling next door. That's where all the noise is coming from, the builders. Now I've got some blue in there, see if I can just put it in. Just showing the shadows, the reflections in the water of the sky, because it's got this blue cloud here and then got a nice bit going across here. Now we've got that shadow I told you about early on. So we just put that right, I'm going to put that overhanging tree in here because it's stippled. So when you do the stipple, just break up your brush on a dry piece of cloth and then go into your colours. And then gaily set about overdoing it. There's a bit of water in there. And we'll get some light stipple in there as well. And I'll put a little bit of stipple on here, just to give a bit of variety to it. It just shuts off. Right, we're going to do some in here, Payne's grey and lemon yellow. Then a bit of rigor. We've got some coming up here. Right. Right, I was going to take a little bit of that colour out there. Just a little bit too close in tone there. Right. Just a little bit more of that there. Put the Wandle birds in. Right, now we've got these twigs. Okay, I've got a signature. Put it in the mouth, see what we've done. Right, so I can't think of anything more to do with that. So drink my tea, which I forgot. Blue melt. Let's see. Right, okay, another impression of the Wandle. Let's see if I can be a little bit clever and just see if I can take out a little figure, a couple of figures. Walking down here. Mostly riding their bikes and walking their dogs. It's all millions of, or a million quid's been spent on this river, putting all new paths in, opening up a beautiful park called the Watermeads, which has been off limits for most people for a long time. It's owned by the National Trust, and it's, as it says, it's in trust of the nation. But to have access to it, you need to be a member. But now it's all public now. Put some of these in there. Oh, you could fiddle around with these forever. But I'm not going to do anything more than that. Those figures riding their bikes, but don't really make sense, do they? So I'll paint them out. Didn't even need it. I forgot to even think about putting them in. I'll just cover them up a bit. So there we are. The River Wandle from this morning's bike ride. I'll show you the picture of it. There it is. Can you see that? And my effort. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's bring you around a bit and zoom in and see some of that stippling stuff that we did. So there's the background. Lots of shadow in the trees. It's about 10:30 when we took this one. That bank's in shadow, and I'll try to show a shadow cast by this tree here. I think it's by that tree. And that's just the bank on the side where I took the picture. And there we are. There's our overhanging. Come back out there. Try to create a bit of distance with a bit of blue in here. But I didn't want it to go too far back because in reality, this is only a couple of 100 yards, if that, or 200 metres, if that. Because it's so meandery. Right, so there we are. The River Wandle from a bike ride this morning. Very enjoyable. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.